All right, guys, we're back with another TFS Talks. It is today we've got the guest, Mikey Wilson. Mikey's done a bit of coaching and management over the last few years at clubs such as Bathgate, Craig Royston, Whitehill. He's done a bit of scouting too, so just like to welcome Mikey onto the show. How are we doing, Mikey?
I'm very well, Greg. How you doing, mate? Long time no speak. You well?
I know, mate. I'm doing all right. Just plugging away with this and that. So we'll just get into it. So when did you first come across Team Finder?
Do you know what? I'd seen it maybe the last few months, last maybe 6 months or so, and I saw it sort of pop up, and I didn't really not that I didn't pay any attention to it. I just I saw it, and I didn't click on how much of a useful thing it could be for myself. So I've seen it, and I've seen it sort of grow over the last sort of couple of months, especially when I've seen a lot of boys are now using it as a sort of announcement or advertisement for their services for a club. So it's you've done well, mate. You've done well.
Right, thanks very much for that. So obviously talking about Team Finder and yourself and that. So as you say, you do a bit of coaching and that. Do you see yourself using Team Finder at all? If you're in a job at all doing that?
Definitely, because you can only have so many contacts with football. I mean, I've built up a fair sort of address book or phone book of people I can speak to and sort of inquire about the availability of players, or if anybody knows anybody available for transfer or even loan. But there's also people that I don't know and players that I don't know, and for players especially, players might not have the contacts to tout themselves about. So to have this sort of platform to be able to sort of advertise themselves and just sort of give them a sort of brief description of the history of their playing career, where they've played, etc. And it's definitely something that I would use going forward.
Thanks for that, Mikey. So what do you think the sort of if you were a player, for example, would you feel confident confident coming forward and doing this? Do you think it's the right way I'm going about it, how I advertise the players with their clubs, or do you think there's maybe something else you would suggest at all?
I don't think so, mate. I don't think so. I think a lot of players want that sort of anonymity where they don't really want to be named. So to list everything but their name, I think, is the next best thing. I think you sort of, especially for myself, if I was looking to sign up a certain player, the fact you've got their sort of playing history there sort of shows the level they've been at. So you can sort of gauge a little bit whether or not you think they might have the sort of, they might be able to step up to that level, or maybe they're sort of maybe even take a step down. But it gives you that sort of comfort that, well, they played at level X and I can feel comfortable bringing them in a trial. You won't sort of drop the level of the intensity of training. So it's definitely a good thing, the way you set up, mate.
Thanks very much. So let's hear a wee bit about you then. So how long have you been involved in football, Mikey? Because I've known you for a few years now, and even before then.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, with regards to sort of playing, I played sort of amateur football stuff. And it was just sort of with my friends, and then I started taking my coaching badges maybe when I was about mid-20s, I think. And I sort of helped out with a local youth sides and stuff, and just sort of helped them sort of take training and stuff. And it's something that I'm really interested in. I'm really sort of I like learning and stuff about sort of the new tactics and stuff. And obviously football's changing and stuff. Obviously your new sort of new age coaches, so to speak. So it's always good to learn. But really, I mean, I think I started sort of seriously when I was approached to be a scout for Livingston, and then from there sort of grew arms and legs, and I sort of was able to take a couple of sessions for the pro youth teams and on the side of the park and stuff, and that's when I got my sort of hunger for it. And then it was by chance on a coaching course I met Gary Small, and Gary took me to Whitehill, where I was our first team coach there, and I learnt a lot. And then from there I sort of again took a step up to Bathgate as first team manager. Left there, I've been to Preston and Verkeeden, Craig Royston. So yeah, I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's I've had a wee break now, but I'm definitely looking to sort of get back involved as soon as possible.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Sounds like you've certainly been about. You've been at a few clubs since I last seen you. Is there any places that you think stood out as that was a great bunch of lads I was involved in, or that was a great social side of it? Because I think a lot of the football now is about social sides and mental health and that, and I think having a good group certainly helps that.
I think social side for the players is good, But I think as a coach, you've got to sort of take that step back and sort of not sort of be as involved as I would have been maybe as a player. There's obviously got to be that boundary and sort of that sort of level of respect. But I mean, by teams, I would say Preston. I really enjoy my time working with Jack at Preston. Great bunch of boys, just there for each other. They all fight, and it was exactly the way that sort of I would set up my team to play. So again, it was something that I thoroughly enjoyed my time there.
Definitely, mate. So, if you were playing, would you feel quite comfortable using my service? You know, say you were out the game, or you know you are out the game and you want to play or you want to manage. Do you think you would maybe approach me to use my services at all? Or
Absolutely. I mean, I don't see any negatives. I don't see why somebody wouldn't. I mean, there's it's only positives. You're getting sort of a bit sort of sort of advertising your services. You're banding sort of your experience about. If on the flip side of the coin, if you didn't have that, I don't know. If you didn't have the contacts, I don't know what else or other sort of means you could go about it. So I don't see any negatives to this whatsoever.
good man. So, a bit more about, you know, you says you done a bit of management, you done a bit of scouting, you done a bit of, like, you know, you worked as assistants too, first team coaching. What would you say is probably your preference now if you were looking to get back into football, so to speak?
I think I've sort of I've still got a little bit to learn. I think so. I mean, I think that my next sort of step would be to maybe work alongside someone who's maybe been in the game a few years, so I can sort of hold my skills, so to speak, certain bits and pieces. I mean, tactically, I think I'm there. I think I've got that sort of wrapped up, but there's a few bit sort of man management side of things and sort of that sort of things. I still need to have a little bit of. I need to be taught a little bit in terms of that, but it's something that I want to get involved in as soon as possible. Saying that with this coronavirus lockdown, sort of whenever that is, but it's something that I want to try and get myself sorted as soon as possible.
Definitely, mate. So do you feel like, because you're not that old yourself, Mikey, are you? You're still
36.
probably quite young, 36. You know, that's just young. You know, I've got boys that play my Saturday team older than that, so you know,
Yeah.
you're not old. Don't worry. But do you think it would just be maybe just going into a job, maybe somewhere with somebody that's just a wee bit older, just to put their arm around you and kind of guide you a wee bit? Do you think that'd be kind of the sort of role you'd be looking for? Or
I mean, not necessarily. I mean, there's as you said, the coaches are sort of can be nowadays. They come at sort of all ages. I mean, when I was at Bathgate, I think I was one of the youngest managers in junior football history. I think I was 33, 34, I think at the time.
mm-hmm.
So age isn't necessarily a thing that I look for. I think it's just sort of experience and sort of the right type of character. I think that's the most important thing. And I think when I make my next move, I think that's something that I'll sort of prioritise as one of my must-haves for my next place of work, to be honest.
So since you've kind of came away from the game a little bit, have you had many people reach out to you, like looking to maybe get you back involved, or you know,
I've had a couple of people phone me and stuff and asking what I'm up to. Would they be interested in this? Would they be interested in that? And to be honest, there's nothing sort of that's jumped out at me. Nothing that sort of got me standing up and thought, yeah, actually, I really want to do that. I really want to do that. I think the next move I make, I've got to sort of want it. It's got to sort of excite me, and it's got to sort of trust my gut. And so far, there's nothing really that's been sort of like that yet so far.
definitely, mate. You know, in regards to, you know, obviously I'm like team finder. I'm here trying to help the players, but you know, I would like to help the clubs as well and the managers. You know, I'm trying to help everybody really. Do you think that maybe players get too much power nowadays? Do you think that makes life as a manager a wee bit tough? Because you know, certainly my experience playing and a little bit of coaching, there is, you know, you always find that there's people that just kind of overstep it. Do you think people get away with too much now?
I think that's sort of that's what man management is. That's everybody's different. It's in terms of character. Some people take it too far, but it's just about sort of managing them and sort of making sure they don't upset the group. And if they are becoming sort of a nuisance and they do upset the group, then you need to think about it long term. What damage could it have? And that's when you sort of need to put your sort of management head on. And that's what I'm saying. Sort of take that step back, social wise, so you can have these sort of tough conversations saying, listen, it's not working out for you here. I don't think your personality is right for this group of boys, so I'm going to be letting you go. So that's to be able to have that conversation. It's I think it's sort of imperative you need to have that sort of distance between the sort of coach, staff, manager, and the players.
Definitely, mate. I think that as long as everybody's singing for the same hymn book, it's easy. But it's just trying to get everybody to that stage, you know.
But
Like,
it is definitely it is. I mean, and the thing is, the club dependent. I mean, of as you know, sort of different clubs have got different sort of budgets and stuff, and you can go out with all the best intentions and saying, I want this player, I want that player, but realistically, you have to go out and sort of find somebody you think you can mould into. You're not going to get a finished article personality wise. You need to bring in people that you think you can mould into what you think the team needs. And I mean, sometimes it doesn't work, and then you just have to shake their hand and say, "Listen, it's not working." On you go. And at Craig Royston, that did happen. It was definitely a work in progress there. I brought in a lot of amateur players, and they might be good players, but again, because I had to trust their sort of temperament and their sort of will to win, because I couldn't pay them money, so I was obviously having to sort of gamble on that wise. They might have all the ability in the world, but they could have the heart the size of a pea, and that's no use, especially at that level.
I think it's a lot to do with mentality. Certainly now, you know, you can tell going into a game, looking in your changing room if somebody fancies it or not nowadays. And do you think like a lot of people are doubting their abilities in football and that because you know it's happening at a lot of teams? You know, you find you're playing a good team and the heads can go down. Do you ever find that at all at any of the clubs you were at?
Yeah, absolutely, mate. As I said, everybody's different. You get that. You get players who sort of doubt themselves confidence-wise and think, "Oh, no, we're playing this team. They're third or fourth or top of the league, and I'm going to be rubbish. We're going to play rubbish." And I think that's when sort of again the manager or coaching staff have to then identify that first of all. As you said, you can tell straight away when somebody doesn't fancy it, and you have to go to them and you have to try and sort that. And again, if it looks like sort of maybe if a talk you have or sort of the conversation doesn't go the way you like or it's sort of not made the impact you want, then you need to make a decision based on the team and how you want that to look. If it means dropping a player, you drop a player. That's the way it is. There's no one player is bigger than the team, so it's all about building a team that you think could go out and win that game, and that's not just technical wise; that's mentality.
I agree with you there 100%. You know, you sometimes have got to bite the bullet even of ability just to, you know, see if it's just for the balance of the team. Completely get that.
Of course,
So if you were looking at bringing in players, like as you say, you didn't have a huge budget. I can't remember what club it was you said you were at, but you know, see as that position, you know, you're bringing in amateur players and that, or what would you do to look at to get in players? Would you be looking at amateur players? Would you maybe go to the under-20s games, maybe try and get players from there? Like what sort of avenues would you go down if you didn't have a big budget?
everything. I think when myself and my assistant were doing sort of our recruitment for that sort of the next. So when the season ended, there was still a few weeks left of sort of the 20 season and sort of senior season. So myself and my assistant, I think we clocked up. I think we counted about 1,000 miles watching games, scouting players, amateur teams, under 20s, fellow East of Scotland teams, and we just did it the old-fashioned way. Got them, watched them, had a list of boys that we thought could do a job, and then it was just give them a call, and then sell what we wanted to do to them. And then we obviously learnt a lot about people's personalities. And I mean, I had one person phone me up and had the conversation with him, and I said, "Listen, what's your thoughts on here?" And he said, "Listen, I'm going to go to the club that offers me the most money." And I said straight away, "No interested in that whatsoever. That's not the attitude I want." But that's fine. Some people are like that. But for me, it's not about that. It's about winning. You got to have that winning mentality first of all. Everything else comes second.
So I see where you're coming from. You do want winners there, and you don't want people that are just kind of influenced by you know things kind of outside of the actual pitch, as you say.
Exactly.
would you think there was ever a player, like that's one player, but do you think there's ever players that just didn't sign for you, not because of, you know, they maybe liked you, but do you just think maybe you just couldn't offer them what they were looking for? Did that happen
Yeah,
at all?
happened all the time. Happened all the time. I had players that were training with myself and were giving it, yep, definitely going to sign. We definitely we want to be part of what you're trying to do. We trust you, and then all of a sudden we went to have a training for a week, and then we find out they're signed for another team. It happens all the time. But then to flip side of the coin, we did that to teams as well. So you've got to be quick off the mark when you're looking at players, looking at bringing players, because everybody's looking for players. Everybody's looking for the same type of players, especially at the level that we were at. It's the same type of players. So that there's not a lot of players in that sort of pool. So you need to be, if you're not that old sort of cliche, if you're not fast, you're last. And it was definitely the case.
Definitely, I see where you're coming from, and with, you know, a small budget, you don't want to be splashing cash on sort of players that are, you know, just going to sort of be passengers in your team. You'll be wanting to keep that for, like, you know, the people you think will really make a difference.
Exactly, and that's the thing. There's a lot of trust. You have to sort of you can have a conversation with someone. They've got the ability, and they give you the chat you like to hear and stuff. And me as a manager, I have to trust that. I have to trust that player that what he's telling me is right, because I can't afford to buy the finished article, or I can't afford to buy a player that I know has got everything I need. So I need to go on a sort of a trust basis. And again, it's hit and miss, and you will get more misses than hits. But the hits that you do get make it all worthwhile.
Definitely, mate. So in your time managing anyway, maybe playing as well, was there like really any characters that stood out that really helped you in your game, or maybe influenced you at all, or maybe just something that just made it enjoyable for you?
I think if you go into sort of football, especially looking at other people to sort of pull you along and stuff, you've got to have that sort of motivation. First of all, you've got to have that love of the game, and I love football. Like, I'll watch any level of football, non-league. I'll go down on a Sunday morning and watch church league football. I just love watching football. I love like seeing different levels and learning sort of different things. So for me, it was all about myself. I pushed myself forward. I was the one that sort of drove myself, because I want to be successful. And it's all. And if you are sort of leaning on someone else to sort of drag you along, then you're never going to get anywhere.
Definitely, you know, that's I completely agree. I personally, myself, I'm the same. I always push on to do better for myself. It was just more of a case of, you know, have you ever just walked into a dressing room and you just know there's a player there that inspires somebody or something, you know? I was just getting where I was going with that.
Yeah, no, I get that. I get that, and you do get that. I mean, at clubs I've been at, you've got boys who've maybe played for a few years, the more experienced boys, and it's always good to see when, obviously, you've done your summer recruitment, it's the first day of pre-season, you come back and there's maybe a couple of young boys you've signed from the 20s, and you've got maybe boys who are maybe mid-20s, maybe early 30s, and you see them straight away going to those new players, speaking to them, asking their name, sitting beside them, shaking their hand, making them feel at ease. And that's what I love. I love players who take responsibility, because at the end of the day, we're all sort of pushing in the same direction. We're all in it to win it, so to speak. So it's good that you can have players like that to trust, to sort of help myself bring the team together, especially with new recruits.
Definitely, mate. I think that's massive. You know, when I was, you know, lucky enough to play under 20s, like when we came up to the first team with your lot and that, there were so many big characters. You know, I'll not name them, but you know fine well who they are.
I can imagine who they were.
Yeah, they literally just put your arm around you, and, you know. By the way, they would absolutely take the mick too. Like, you know, you got absolutely ripped off them sometimes, but that's healthy, mate.
Of course it is, because it makes you feel at home, makes you feel part of the team.
Well, the thing is, they wouldn't say it to you if they didn't like you. You know what I mean?
Correct, exactly. And that's the thing. And I mean, if maybe you come up to sort of first team training for the 20s, and you do make a mispass, or you do make a mistake, and they do get on at you, and the senior players do get on at you, that's not a criticism of you. That's the standard that you need to get up to, and you need to sort of realise that if I'm going to make it at this level, that's the level I need to be at. And it sort of helps refocus your mind a little bit, and it sort of gives you a bit of a guide where you need to be if you want to be in that team week in, week out.
Definitely, mate. I think, a lot of the time I was when I was speaking to an amateurs boss, we were saying, too many people are getting well done for when they're not actually that good in that. And I think that
No.
we're not trying to put people down, but at the same time, if you're settling for mediocrity, you'll not get any better.
Nah, I think there's no point. Well, I never said well done. It was well done for what? For you're there. Some boys were getting paid. You're paid to play football. Well done for playing a pass. Well, no, that's not what it is. You score a goal. Well done. Well done. But then we go again. Then we go again. It's. I think a lot of people. There's a fine line though when it comes to sort of again flipping the coin criticism. I think the way that I worked it was there's no point in hammering someone on a park, for example, on a game if they make a mistake. There's no point. What's the point in that? You try and encourage them. You give them sort of a positive criticism. You give them the sort of next time do this. Give them the solution to the problem, and then it shows that you still got that trust and belief in them, and it makes their head maybe go back up a little bit and say, actually, let's go. I'm not going to do this again. So again, it's all down to man management. It's as a manager, it's massive.
Definitely. I think that there's, as you say, it's a fine line, and some people can take it and some people can't.
Yeah.
Like you don't ever want to come across as a bad person, but at the same time, you need to kind of, if somebody's not doing it, you need to tell them.
Exactly.
I've been that person when I've been told I'm not doing it before, and sometimes as a player you've got to tell your other players you're not doing it, and I think it's certainly about finding the balance. Like I don't envy you, how you say you were the manager at Bathgate and Craig Royston and that, like that wouldn't have been easy. 100% not, especially when you've got players there who have played. A lot of them will have played quite a high level, I would have imagined. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of them have played SPL, and I had Scotland youth caps and stuff under 21s. But that's the thing. Again, if you go in there and you sort of have, if people can see that little bit of sort of self-doubt, then there's no point even going, because they'll just eat you alive. You have as the leader of that squad, of that club, you have to go in there as confident as you can be, and sort of, even if you don't know the answer to sort of a question or maybe a tactical change that team have made, you give what you believe is the right answer, but say it with confidence. Never doubt yourself in front of players. Never ever doubt yourself, because they sort of take their confidence from leader, and that's what it was. So it was daunting, of course it was, but I'm sort of the type of person I am. Nothing really sort of phases me, so it was just go in and just kick off.
Definitely, mate. I agree with you 100% there. I think that it's, as you say, you need to be firm. You don't want to be nasty or come across the wrong way, but you certainly need to be firm. And as long as you're doing that, if the players don't buy into it, that's fair enough. But at least you can say, you know what, you're doing it your way.
Exactly. And if players don't buy into it, then that's when you make that decision. Well, maybe this club isn't for you. And that's fine.
Definitely.
There's no grudges.
So, would you have, before we finish up, would you have anything you would like to say at all? Anybody listening at all?
No, just, I mean, not really. I mean, just if you enjoy playing football, if it's maybe you've not played football for a while, or maybe you want to change, I would definitely use the Team Finder Scotland, because as I said before, maybe you don't have those contacts, or maybe you don't know the people. Use this, and you're advertised to a lot of people, a lot of clubs, at a lot of levels. So you never know what can happen. There's no harm in advertising yourself, advertising your services. I mean, it's like a transfer list. It happens in football. That's all it is. You're just advertising your services. So go for it. Have no qualms about it. I mean, as a coach or a manager, I would use it for myself, to advertise myself as wanting to get back involved. No doubt about it.
Yeah, you never know, Mikey. If that ever comes up, I'm more than happy to help you out. Yeah. But
of course.
It's been a pleasure having you. Before I go, I would just like to announce a little thing for the podcast too. We've been picking up some momentum in that, and we've been doing well, and we've also partnered up with a mental health charity, which is massive for me. So we're just looking to keep that going. And if anybody else wants to get involved, feel free, just give me a shout. If you want to sponsor the podcast, anything you want to get in on, you're more than welcome. Look to have more guests like Mikey, so we thank Mikey yet again.
No problem,
that's us, folks.
Pleasure.
Cheers. Have a nice one, Mikey. Bye.